It's a Friday right here on the SportsGrid Network. It's the early line. Get excited, people. It's Donnie Rightside and it's Joe Ranieri. 2 hours here. We got everything you need to get you covered for this weekend's action, which, again, we're going to remind the people, Joe. Daylight savings on Sunday. Make sure you wake up on time because you're going to get Major League Baseball action. You're going to get everything you need. Just don't oversleep. But the important parts today, Joe, I set this aside. Miami of Ohio is going for an unbeaten regular season tonight. We'll preview that as well. The NBA action is heating up. Teams already playing in conference tournaments, and the big boys, Joe, will show up on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week, ready to go before we get to Selection Sunday. There are so many hot topics to get to. So much fun to be had, Joe. I know you're ready. I'm ready. Let's get down to business.
I got a lot going on, Donnie.
I can't wait.
It's, again, the next 4 to 5 weeks are just some of the best in the sports landscape. So let's dive in, and it starts, like you said, tonight here with maybe our first undefeated college regular season team in some time here, Donnie.
Let's get busy. Let's have some fun. Let's get down to the business. And you know the drill right now. It's time to get excited. It's time to get caffeinated. Joe's going to deliver the hottest topic of the day right now, people.
Yeah, Donnie. Well, if you thought Adam Silver's sternly worded emails and conference calls were going to stop NBA teams from tanking, well, you clearly haven't been paying attention to the absolute race to the bottom that we are witnessing right now. We have officially reached a level of futility that belongs in the record books. And I'm not kidding. Because heading into last night's games, the bottom 10 teams in the NBA were on a combined 44-game losing streak. Read that again now. 44 straight losses for the bottom 10 teams in the NBA. It is officially a tankathon for the ages, Donnie. And we know exactly why it's happening because we have been telling you since December that this incoming freshman class is one of the deepest and most talented we have seen in decades. Now, usually there are 2 or 3 guys who can change a franchise in any draft, if you're lucky. This year, the lottery is loaded. And these NBA front offices are tripping over themselves to see, well, who can suck the loudest just to get a seat at the table? It's gotten so pathetic, Donnie, that I've watched the Indiana Pacer players trying to convince refs that the ball was actually out of bounds on them and they should just give the ball to the other team, just to make sure they don't accidentally win a game. We are at the point where a matchup between an 18-44 Utah Jazz team and the Washington Wizards last night was a marquee matchup. Why? Because the draft implications are so massive. But maybe, Donnie, just maybe, and there is hope, that Adam Silver might have finally thrown a dart that hit the bullseye. The NBA is reportedly discussing a lottery tournament. It's a suck fest, Donnie, where the bottom teams actually have to win games against each other to determine the draft order. Sign me up for that. Put it on pay-per-view. I want to see these guys who have spent the last 4 months load managing and coasting through the regular season suddenly have to flip the switch and play for their jobs just to get the draft pick their bosses want. Until the NBA finds a way to force this generation of players to actually have some pride in the regular season, the product is going to keep rotting from the inside out. Fans are tired of watching millionaire professionals try not to win. If you want a championship or bust league, go for it. But don't be surprised when the fans decide that the regular season is the 10th most interesting thing about your sport. Give me the chaos, Donnie. Give me a tournament. Give me anything that stops this embarrassing display of intentional losing.
Absolutely. And Joe points out a good point here for the NBA. It's a shame because it's a great sport that's fantastic in the playoffs, but absolutely unwatchable in the regular season because half the league is out of it by the time you get to game number 2. At least in Major League Baseball, yeah, some teams are out of it, but it's a lazy sport, 162 over the summer. Can you imagine the NFL? If we're like, man, the regular season absolutely stinks. That's not the case. We watch every game all the time, even with the bad teams, because at least for weeks 1 through, let's call it 15, most teams are giving their honest efforts. They're tanking at the end of the season. It's always going to happen. Same thing in all sports, the way it turns out. Great topic to start it off, Joe. But we are a live show, right? Are you watching live right now? Japan, 13-0 over Chinese Taipei in the World Baseball Classic here. And how about this? Ohtani, a triple short of a cycle here, which already includes, Joe, a grand slam this morning. My goodness.
Yeah, shocker, right? He's
Going
in
off.
midseason form here at the plate. Yeah, here's a hint to everyone in the world. Don't pitch to him. Just walk him. Don't pitch to him. I'm telling you right now, do not pitch to him, because the level of pitching he's facing right now, Donnie, he should hit 900 when it comes to this tournament here over the next 7 games. So I would avoid pitching to Ohtani.
Boston Celtics fan have been upset ever since Jason Tatum went down on Achilles against the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks this year having a decent season, but the Celtics are supposed to be like, we'll see what we get. We might not even the playoffs. Rebuild year. Let's restructure the roster, and we'll wait for Tatum to get back the following season. Uh-oh. The East and the Boston Celtics, one of the best teams left there. And you know what's going to happen tonight? Tatum, Joe, back on the court.
Let's hope, Donnie.
Wow.
You know, because stranger things have happened, right? Like, oh, yeah, he's good to go. And then all of a sudden, it is the NBA after all, right? 20 minutes before tip. Oh, sorry. Maybe we'll push him back here a little bit. But after that showing the other night, yeah, maybe against Charlotte, maybe they can use Jason Tatum.
By the way, general manager here for the Buffalo Bills. Not doing your job here. Everybody screams, Joe. Get your guy a number 1 and win a Super Bowl. And he went at length at the regular season where it's like, okay, trade deadline. I'm not giving away a top pick for a top player here. Some of these guys are ridiculous. Then you go and get steamrolled by the Chicago Bears for a number 2 wide receiver. Yes, does it help DJ Moore is in town for the Buffalo Bills? But my goodness, if you just secure a number 1 for Josh Allen, you probably get to the Super Bowl. Bean, not doing his job.
I get the relationship between DJ Moore and Joe Brady. I mean, the best 2 seasons DJ Moore had were in Carolina when he was the OC there. But I that seems very expensive for a guy that the Chicago Bears felt, yeah, well, we can do without a number 1. No, or maybe he wasn't the number 1 on that team, and that was the problem.
Saints all-time sack leader headed the free agents here. Couldn't come to an agreement with the Saints. Now he's going to see what he's worth on the open market, Joe.
Listen, there'll always be opportunities for guys that can get to the quarterback, Donnie, right? The market is never going to go away for those guys, and it doesn't even have to be for a full season. I'm sure he's going to land somewhere.
Joe, you've heard this phrase before. Hey, man, pimping ain't easy. Well, apparently it's a little bit easier than you thought it might be, because you can also be an assistant coach at a Division I team and still run a prostitution ring, allegedly, Joe. How about that for Kevin Mays?
How about that for Big Daddy Kane getting a shout out here on the show? Well done, Donnie. Well done. Yes, boy, that was what did he take a page out of Patino's book? Oh, wait a minute. Is that too soon? Oh, I'm sorry about that. And they still weren't any good, by the way.
By the way, you put up a good point on this. Like, I guess, like, man, how did he do that? Well, technically, you're flying to, like, a new city every 2 to 3 nights. Like, you can establish the grounds and, make your run around here and get your collection on payments. It was actually kind of smart for Kevin Mays, but smart till you get caught. And then, you're probably going to be doing some time sooner than later. NCAA women's action. Remember that fight that took place just a few nights ago? 4 players suspended after that brawl that left a referee knocked out on the court.
I told you, Donnie, right? It made the best part about that whole season was that brawl, and now, unfortunately, suspensions all over the place that nobody will realize happened.
Hey, Doc Rivers in the news here. Stephen A. Smith claims that he's going to retire. That just means he's going to get fired. How about that?
Yeah, walk away. Yeah, a little dignity, I guess, there. But he should be fired, Donnie.
How about no dignity in this story? The Paralympics here. 2 curling stones have been stolen from the games here. We're stealing stones out here for curling? Come on.
How does that even happen, Donnie? How does that happen? My goodness.
It's got to be pretty heavy, too. Like, we can't just put them in a backpack and walk out. Somebody had to see what happened there. But you know what else you're going to see? Hour number 1 in full effect here. Spreadlines coming up next. Come one, come all. It's Friday. It's the early line. It's the SportsGrid Network. It's your boy DRS. It's Joe Ranieri. We've waited a long time, and I feel like, Joe, this is your team. Like, we uncovered this months ago. Like, hey, Miami of Ohio's a pretty decent team, running the table, 15 wins, 16 wins, 17 wins. Maybe they're going to get tripped up at some point here, but there's no way they're going to run the regular season as the only Division I team that's undefeated. We talked about, hey, is Nebraska going to get there? Of course they weren't going to get there. Ooh, can Arizona stay there? Nope, they couldn't stay there because elite talent plays each and every night. You're going to get knocked off somewhere. And it's hard to win every one of your games, particularly in college basketball, where home team has a major advantage. They're at home. You take a look at Miami, Ohio, Joe. Here we go. Unbeaten, one last game in the regular season. They're going to take on Ohio. So Miami of Ohio taking on Ohio tonight. The Bobcats are at home, but the Bobcats opened up as getting 6.5 overnight, Joe. See that graphic? It's down to 5.5. Heavy ticket count on Miami of Ohio for this game tonight, but the line is dropping a bit. 159.5, Joe. Give you the floor. What's your spread line? Miami, Ohio versus Ohio.
Well, first of all, how is this game not primetime, ESPN, ABC? Like, there is, what else is going on tonight that could possibly be a better story? I mean, we're talking about the single best underdog story of not just this season, maybe of the last decade here, a potential 31-0 finish. I mean, just unbelievable what's going on. The problem is the market has been fading Miami of Ohio now for about the last month, Donnie. There's been a lot of people looking to make money with Miami of Ohio not covering. They didn't cover last time, don't forget, right? Toledo was by the hair on their chinny chin chin, a 1 second left layup is what did it for them. They're going to get the best from Ohio tonight. Ohio, this is their national championship, the Ohio Bobcats. They don't like each other as it is. This is going to be an all-out war. It's must-watch television. Having said that, yeah, Miami of Ohio has knocked them all down before. I don't see any reason to doubt that they're going to win this game again here tonight.
Now, I can't, look, go undefeated. And it's almost like, I want them to go undefeated in the regular season, Joe, and win their conference tournament so they come in with even more panache. Like, hey, we didn't ask for anything. We didn't need a favor. We just handled our business. But part of me, Joe, wants them to go undefeated and then maybe get tripped up in the MAC tournament and then have, people on TV tell us like, oh, well, that's just not good enough with that record here and who they played. Madness here. That's what March is made for. Miami should be in regardless if they win tonight or even their college tournament. How about that coming up next week? How about VCU Dayton, Joe? The A-10. Two really good basketball teams going to take flight tonight in Dayton. The favorite, the Dayton Flyers at home, -1.5 against VCU, and a total of 148.5, Joe. A-10 action. What's your spread line tonight for this one?
And this is another one of those huge rivalries, Donnie. VCU and Dayton have been going at it for a long time here in the A-10. In fact, I believe VCU, though, has won, 9 of the last 13? They're 4-1 at Dayton Arena, which is where, of course, they have played the first 4 in. They've played that tournament there ahead of time. Dayton, listen, they're going to have to win some games here in the Atlantic 10 tournament one way or the other. But VCU also needs to win this game because this will mean nothing to the Atlantic 10 where, I mean, my goodness, they have done nothing but beat each other up all year long. Dayton has looked the part for stretches this year. VCU has looked the part for stretches this year. Somebody's got to win this game, but something tells me, Donnie, it's a pick 'em for a reason. Got to give the edge to VCU here. They have just owned Dayton recently.
Let's head over to New Jersey tonight for some action in the Big East. That's St. John's crossing the river to take on Seton Hall. The line opened up overnight there at -5.5. Now shows at -4.5 this morning, despite only 17% of the tickets here coming in on Seton Hall. 136.5 is the total in this game, Joe. Big East battle, St. John's and Seton Hall. What's your spread line tonight?
Listen, Seton Hall, I can't imagine Seton Hall getting into the tournament, Donnie, without a win here tonight, right? They've got to be able to win against a top 25 team, right? The problem is the only teams that they have beaten inside Ken Palm's top 75 are all named Providence. That's not great. Against the league's top 3 teams in the Big East, Donnie, they're 0-5 and likely about to be 0-6 here. So it's unfortunate. Rooting for Seton Hall all year long there with Holloway, but you're just not going to beat the Johnnies here tonight. It's not going to happen.
How about that? Look at that college basketball action on a Friday. Undefeated teams, big rivalries, big games tonight. Love to see it. And also, flipping it over, Joe, to the association. Let's head out to the Rocky Mountains here. The city of Denver, the Knicks, taking on the Denver Nuggets tonight. The favorite overnight was the Denver Nuggets. Both outlets now, Joe, showing the New York Knicks as a -1.5 point favorite tonight. Knicks, Nuggets, center stage, 9 p.m. What's the spread line there?
Well, you got to love it, right? I mean, Denver last night held serve against the Lakers there, 120-113. Now they welcome in the New York Knicks, who had a rough go of it there at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Denver is supposed to have Aaron Gordon back tonight, apparently. So that was what they were on track for. So getting him back is huge, especially on the second of a back-to-back here. It's a tough spot for the Knicks. But something tells me maybe with Aaron Gordon back, maybe a little more defense here tonight, Donnie. I might be looking towards an under here.
A little late night action in the NBA, 9:30 start Eastern. The Los Angeles Clippers in town to take on the San Antonio Spurs. Just dusted off the Detroit Pistons, and that didn't help my wallet from last night. But tonight, the favorites are the Spurs, -8. Overnight, now still sitting at -8 as you see that graphic, 224.5. Spurs, one of the best teams in the NBA. The Clippers come to town. Can they cover, Joe? What's your spread line here?
Well, I mean, Donnie, it was over before it started last night against Detroit because literally San Antonio could not miss a three. They shot over 50% in the first half alone from three. So I do think that regresses a little bit here tonight. The Clippers are a new team, man, and anytime I can get Kawhi Leonard, all right, and this new cast of characters that are really starting to come together for the Clippers, I'll take the points here, Donnie. Spurs, second of a back-to-back. They are good, but it wouldn't shock me if maybe a little rest happening here tonight with the Spurs.
7 games in the association tonight. Some really good ones here. And also, as we point out to start the show, Dallas Mavericks, Boston Celtics. Boston favored by 15. Tatum returns to the court tonight in Boston. Let's watch TV, just like us on the SportsGrid Network. We'll be right back. Sometimes in our early lineups here, we have some really interesting topics I have to double back on because you might be watching and passing it. Did they just say that out there? What are they talking about? Yes, an assistant coach in college basketball Division One was a alleged part-time pimp who would make his rounds but still coach basketball, and that was under wraps for quite some time. Now it's not under wraps, Joe. Who would have thought we'd find out on March Madness? This is the madness that we were finding out, that we might have pimps in college basketball. How about that?
Yeah. How did that team lose a game, Donnie? I mean, you would have thought, right? I mean, like recruiting must have been fantastic going to Cal's, right? You should have gotten every recruit that you ever wanted in that place there. But I mean, my goodness, how long was that going on before you actually got caught? Like I bet you it wasn't a week, Donnie. I bet you it wasn't a week. That's for sure.
By the way, in that graphic that we just posted up there, like it almost is like, hey, if you're watching, the coach of the pimp, was that guy the pimp? So that guy probably getting an insignificant shout out right there. Like, why'd you put me on that graphic? I'm not the one pimping at this point right now. It's a shame. What an interesting story that would take national precedent, where it's like, okay, a team that's not going to make the tournament here. But by the way, that coach been pimping in 4 different states, allegedly. Kind of insane the way you talk about it here. Also insane, when you're on the basketball court, decorum is what you figure you would have. But sometimes in the heat of the moment, you lose your cool just a little bit, which means a ref gets smoked and knocked out on the court and players are suspended. Some people say, Joe, in basketball in the NBA, like, they don't care about the regular season. Well, this is now the postseason of college basketball. Apparently, these ladies cared so much that they were throwing bows out there.
Haymakers, Donnie. Absolute haymakers, man. I mean, throwing from all over the place. Might have been the most impressive thing about that game, because the basketball certainly wasn't exciting at all. But you got to love the rival. You got to love the nature where we don't like you, you don't like us. You got to love that little old school basketball there, little street yard and, playground basketball. You got to love it. It just got a little bit out of hand there in that game.
Yeah, just a little bit out of hand. Knockout punches here at this point. And you got to say, I don't know if they stretched the referee off at that point, but obviously going to the monitor to review everything. Yeah, things took place, but suspensions are actually happening. But also, Joe, college basketball, and factor this under, Joe. Why do we do this? And nobody asked for it, and we don't need it. The LED courts coming with mixed reviews. First of all, let's take out what the players are talking about, how it looks like. How about this? Yeah, the court's kind of cool, Joe, but it is kind of slippery out here. What are we doing, Joe? Start here with this. If the court is slippery, what are we doing?
Well, you're going to have a lot of guys slipping and falling and twisting ankles and doing all sorts of things there, Donnie. It's just a matter of time. But you know what? Get a lot of great ad dollars, though, can't you? Just got to make sure that you can read the floor. But yeah, something is terrible is going to happen here. I mean, of all the things to mess with, don't mess with the surface on a basketball court. Like, of all things, please. And already the players hate it. But you know what? Isn't that going to be a little blinding, too, at times, Donnie, as you're trying to dribble up court and, getting out in transition and all of a sudden, a commercial comes on and you can't see where you're running? I just don't get it, man. I really don't.
We've been through it in college basketball and the pros, Joe. It's like, hey, works really good? A nice wood court out there. Great, let's play on it. And then they go, what's even better? Let's put a giant basketball sticker at midcourt and we all slip on it. We don't know why, but it looks good for TV. Second part of this equation, Joe. Yeah, the LED looks cool at this point, but does it? Like the graphic that shows a gray court, there's a reason why the court isn't gray. It is not aesthetically pleasing here, and it's not fun to watch, right? NBA courts are wood. You're like, hey, look, the logo's on one side here, the wood court. It's very nice and very easy to see. Why would you have a gray court, Joe, show up on your TV screen? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Nobody wants this.
No, it doesn't. No. And again, Donnie, there are some things that should always remain the same, right? You should never mess with the surface in anything. I mean, the NFL, they still have issues with, is it turf? Is it grass? Is it grass and turf? What is it? Like, just leave the basketball court alone, please.
It's an LED court, so here's what's going to happen. Forget about the people like, we're going to hack into the system and put funny things on the court. Answer me this, Joe. Big 12 championship game for the men's here. Coming down with 1 minute left to play. You're down 3 points. LEDs go out for the 3-point line.
Yes.
You just say, well, let's play this out, and we'll get the refs like in Major League Baseball. The umpire's like, my strike zone. Yeah, that looks like a 3, and that was good. At the worst possible time, Joe, we are going to have an outage, and we're all going to laugh because and say, like, why did we need this?
Yep. Yeah, we don't. And the answer is, Donnie, we don't. But you know what? The NCAA feels like they need it because the advertising revenue is probably going to be through the roof. Once again, they're just another avenue to make money.
And by the way, the NHL used to be like, oh, the boards are the boards. And then once they started having the boards change on TV, gives me a migraine. Thank you. We'll be right back. Miami, Ohio versus Ohio tonight. And if you're not paying attention, you should be. ESPN2 tonight, national stage. Why is it important? A perfect regular season is in the balance. And the one thing that we do like, Joe, and can appreciate it sometimes as well, they didn't knock off Gonzaga early in the year. They didn't beat Duke early in the year. They didn't have a Michigan win. But the fact of the matter is, it's also not like, Joe, they went through their entire schedule beating everybody by 25 points and nobody can touch them. This team is battle-tested. They've been in the final minutes of game down points and had to come back and win games in overtime multiple times here. So it'll be fun to watch. But that game board, once again, for Miami of Ohio, they're the favorites tonight against Ohio. You know Ohio would love nothing more than put a blemish on that record as they head into their conference tournament here tonight, Joe. So favored by a handful of points, let's call it. Miami, Ohio's on the road. What is your confidence level tonight that at the end of the night we'll be like, damn, they did go undefeated?
Well, I mean, let's start with what they did back on February 13th, right? Where they took on Ohio at home and promptly smacked them and won that game, Donnie, 90-74, right? So we've already kind of seen this and what this looks like. And in that game, Donnie, wouldn't you know it, they went 9 of 18 from three-point range here. And that's the big difference between these two teams. Number one, you got Miami of Ohio's offense has done great on the road all season. You know, they're 14th in the country in points per possession on the road, Donnie, and they shoot about 38% from three on the road, which puts them 27th best in the country. So Ohio is about the interior, is about the paint. They don't shoot the three very well. They don't defend the three very well. And three being more than two, Donnie, tells you everything you need to know about the math in this game. Listen, Miami, as long as the nerves don't get to them, they should have no problem beating the Ohio Bobcats here tonight and covering. But again, you're going to get the best effort here from this Ohio Bobcats team. This is their national championship game tonight.
Since 2000, Joe, we got a graphic here. Teams to start 30-0 or better. Miami of Ohio, obviously doing it this year here. Taking a look at Gonzaga, 2021 here. 31-1 is where they finished. Lost in the national championship game. Kentucky in 14-15, 38-1. They lost in the Final Four. And then that Wichita State team, which came out of nowhere, which was absolutely fantastic. 35-1. They lost in the round of 32. I believe that game was to Kentucky back then. But also looking at these games coming up, Joe, you got to get through that conference tournament. You got to get into March Madness. But, man, you can just stamp it, man. We went undefeated in the regular season. Hang that banner.
Well, but remember, too, I mean, I think there's 7 undefeated teams, right, in the regular season. Every one of those undefeated teams, Donnie, you know what they did? They made it to the NCAA tournament, right? We're here. We're talking about a 30-0 team, possibly 31-0, and we're saying not enough. They got to go ahead and win their tournament in order to be able to get in. That's how ridiculous this is with Miami of Ohio and Bruce Pearl and others. Nobody wants to watch a 500 TCU or Auburn team. I'd much rather watch the team that goes 30-1. Even 31, even if they lose tonight, or 31-0, Donnie. I don't care what they do in the MAC championship.
In New Jersey tonight, St. John's coming over to take on Seton Hall. This is an interesting matchup where you see the lines here. Right on St. John's, it's called -4.5 points. But understand this. There's 11 teams in the Big East. 10th in efficiency on offense is Seton Hall. Number 1 in efficiency on defense here is St. John's. Where are the points coming from is the question tonight for Seton Hall. But also, more importantly, can they get inside that spread number?
Again, we saw this game, right, once before, and Seton Hall kicking themselves because they had a 15-point second-half lead against the Johnnies and ended up losing by 5 in that game. It's all about the physical play, right? That's all it is. But, you know, the Johnnies don't get pushed around all that much there. And, you know, they gave up 18 offensive rebounds to Seton Hall, the Johnnies did in that game. Pitino is going to have these guys ready. Pitino does not want to lose to Seton Hall. Doesn't care about the feel-good story, how great it would be. It's all going to be about rebounding in this game. If the Johnnies keep Seton Hall off the boards, they're going to cover this number and likely win by double digits. If not, well, it could be a sweat job here for Pitino and the boys.
Let's flip it over to the association tonight and welcome back Jason Tatum, expected to probably be back in the starting lineup here for the Celtics tonight. At least we know he's going to play, and a 2-touchdown favorite. But Joe Mazzulla is always one for quotes, and they asked him, saying, you know what? What do you think about Tatum's comeback? Quote, I might not be alive. I go to bed questionable and wake up probable. Leave that riddle there, Joe. How about that? Can you decipher what he's talking about?
Well, listen, whether he actually plays tonight or not, Donnie, the fact that we're even having this discussion after I can remember that game against the Knicks, watching him blow his Achilles out, right? And going, oh, boy, that's all right. We're not going to see him for enough. The fact that he is even healthy enough, not on the injury, and has an opportunity to play, and here we are the first week of March. I don't know if it's stupidity. I don't know if it's just unbelievable medical science, but I think either way, Donnie, we're going to find out. Part of me just wishes the Celtics were 20 games out of a playoff spot and there'd be no reason to bring him back. But I certainly hope they're not pushing this envelope because, you know, they're second in the Eastern Conference right now.
And maybe, you know, take a look at Jaylen Brown after the first quarter. Going to have to go back in the locker room and smoke a pack of cigarettes because how frustrated he is. Like, man, stop shooting the basketball. Tatum at this point. But here's Derek White talking about the return of Tatum here.
Derek, what's the balance of making sure Jason feels comfortable and at the same time him being able to acclimate to how this team has changed, especially from individual development standpoints since last season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we play a little bit differently, but like JT's been around all year, so he's been in those film sessions and like in the locker room with us. I mean, obviously he's been away from basketball for a while, so there's going to be a kind of like a little grace period for him. But at the end of the day, we all just want to win, and so that's really what we're focusing on, and we're all going to do whatever it takes to win games.
Is he Joe? Is he wanted back in the locker room? Is that what I'm hearing out of that? Didn't seem too exciting. Like, hell yeah, team leader's back, MVP style should be ready to go. I'm hearing a lot of, yeah, you're gonna be rusty, and we'll just see if we can go win.
Of course he's going to be rusty. I mean, they say, Donnie, the average time to return is about 10 months. But let's not forget, Durant didn't play for 18 months after tearing his Achilles, right? So, and they kind of right around the same age when that happened. So, I wish him nothing but the best luck. And he is one of the best players in the NBA. You need him back out there. I would want him back out there, but I only want him back out there, Donnie. We don't have 30 games to get the rust off for him. They're going to have to use him correctly. And I think Mazzulla and company, I think they'll handle it the right way, but knock on wood, let's make sure he doesn't have any setbacks here for playing some sort of stupid Wednesday night game, with 15 games left in a regular season that mean nothing.
By the way, you saw that points prop here for him listed at 12.5. It's interesting, too, because maybe in a closer game, he would get a little bit more run coming back. But this line is 14.5 to 15, depending where he's shopping at. And you see the 12.5. I think that's manageable, but I don't think his goal tonight is to come back and, score. It's almost like, let me get in the flow. Let me get some cardio. Let me get some shots up. And also for the Celtics, this isn't a do-or-die game tonight against one of the teams that you're supposed to absolutely plaster. It feels like there will be a minutes limit. And also understand this, too, Joe. It's not good for athletes to come back on the court, particularly with, let's just call an Achilles injury, and say, you're going to go 7 minutes in the first quarter, 6 minutes in the second quarter. Then you're going to take off halftime and play 4 minutes in the third quarter. This feels like he's probably only going to get a half because you want to see the exertion, and then you want to sit him out and see over the next 2 days how that Achilles actually handled it. I would doubt, Joe, if he plays past halftime. I really would.
Listen, again, it all depends on how you use him.
Yeah.
It'll be great emotionally for the Celtics and for the fans to get him back out on the court and see him there, but there is zero reason to push him at any point in this. And let's see what he's got. I mean, I would look to fade it, Donnie. I'm going under that total because let's see how it looks first. But yeah, I think it's going to be more about the let's get him out on the court here with his teammates.
Celtics ramping up for the playoffs. Tom Vecchio next. It's a Friday. It feels like unbeaten Friday. Why? Because you got Miami of Ohio tonight going for that unbeaten regular season against Ohio. But there's crazy topics out there. And sometimes you watch a live show like, hey, what are you guys talking about in the morning here around 7 a.m.? There's nothing going on live. The WBC is absolutely live right now, which we're going to get to. Donnie right side, Joe Ranieri. It's welcome in Tom Vecchio, good friend of the program here. And also, as I hear it, Tommy, little 2-hour episode there this weekend here, coming to you live for some Major League Baseball, World Baseball Classic updates and information. Tommy, welcome in.
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, we got World Baseball Classic going on not only now, but literally all day. We're going to baseball for 12 plus hours today. Japan is absolutely throttling Chinese Taipei up 13-0 right now. But we got games throughout the rest of the day. Like I said, another episode this weekend. We got the NHL trade deadline later this afternoon. A lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on, a lot of fun here, Tom. We updated the people when we started the show. Todd, he was on the hunt there for the cycle, already hitting a grand slam and filling everything in. It's always the toughest one to get is the triple. But 13-0 Japan over Chinese Taipei. Let me start here, Tom, because we know in real time these lines are always on the move. But I am surprised by this. When we opened up talking about the WBC, it was always Team USA that was going to be the favorite. They sit now at -110 price. But Japan was always in second in line. But the Dominican Republic, Tom, has taken a lot of money down to a +330 prices. I'm looking on FanDuel in Japan at a 4-1 price. I'll start here. Do you agree that the Dominicans here should be in line in second in the odds market here to win the WBC?
Realistically, I think it's like a 2A, 2B between Japan and Dominican Republic. Like, I talked, a week and a half ago with you guys. I think Venezuela is a good team as well. But, Japan and Dominican Republic being that high of a price, I don't agree with. I think they should be a lot closer. I don't think USA should be -110 at a certain point. It really comes down to the pitching. And once that top tier pitching for the US isn't in the game, or they're not in the game for, 5-6 innings, it's only going to be 3 or 4. That's where the other teams really can show their power. And you have a lineup that has Soto and Vladdy and Tatis all back-to-back. Like, that's just as good as the Team USA lineup. So Dominican Republic taking that money does not surprise me.
Yeah.
Feels like, especially with Team Japan and Team USA, at least early on when they play these teams that shouldn't even be on the field with them top. Feels like a lot of overs are coming, maybe team totals over. Are we going to the alternate markets? Are we laying 3.5 runs? There's got to be a way to capitalize on the disparity between the level of play here, no?
There is. When you look at the run line for the USA game later tonight, they're playing Brazil. It's 9.5. We're at 9.5 runs. That's what you see as an in-game at Coors Field, right? So it's 9.5. The total is 14.5. It is juiced -140 to the over. I would like to say there's some amount of correlation. If USA is covering 9.5, the game goes over 14.5. Frankly, I would rather play the 14.5, even though it's got the juice of -140. I think hopefully Brazil can get across, let's call it 2 runs, right? And then USA can do the rest of the heavy lift. Like, USA is going to have to do 90% of the work in this circumstance. And listen, any extra runs that Brazil can push across is obviously fantastic, but I'd rather take the over than lay the 9.5. That's just me.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's funny you did that because I was just going down some of the lines and I'm like, wow, 2.5s, 4.5s, 3.5s. That's funny. And then you get down to USA tonight. 9.5 runs. They have to win by 10 runs for you to cover. Hey, by the way, I bet USA. Yeah, easy win, 8-0. I lost my bet. What are you talking about? They won by 8 runs. Yeah, they had to win by 10 runs. And it's not even a win by 10 runs here plus 500. Win by 10 runs, -128. You're even getting juiced on the 10 runs here at this point as it goes through. But it's a lot of fun to see here and a lot of fun to show some of these guys away from their teams throughout spring training. March 25th, we'll get to the regular season. But, Tom, I know you're a big hockey guy here as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. Today is March 6th, and this afternoon, we have the trade deadline across hockey. Can you fill me in a little bit, maybe some news coming through there, teams you're looking to watch out for, and any big names that might change hands?
So, trade deadline later this afternoon. I would say that even if players get traded, there's no guarantee that they're actually with their teams tonight, right? Like, it's not like some players are fly across country. So even if a team's getting better by acquiring a player, doesn't mean that they're going to be at full strength tonight. They still may be trading players away and have to mix and match players. So that's one thing to keep an eye on. When it comes to the teams I'm keeping an eye on, Dallas is still at a great price. I know Colorado's a heavy favorite right now, but Dallas for a Stanley Cup future, they're getting the pieces together. I always like what they have. They have the playoff experience. And, when it comes to the Central Division, which is extremely tough, obviously the Avs are looking to have the number 1 seed, but then the Dallas-Wild match, presumably in the first round, could be a big stepping stone for Dallas to move past them and then play the Avs. And if Dallas is at 25-1 right now to win the Stanley Cup, if they move past the Avs to get to the Western Conference Final, they have immense value at that point.
So who do you, these usually know the trade deadline, Tom, right? We usually don't get it. It's not a lot of big name guys. It's a lot more depth and you know, fixing pieces here that are going to move the needle for some. But you know, who are some of the teams on that cusp here? I mean, you look at the Devils, you look at the Islanders. They made a trade yesterday. Nobody's talking about Edmonton. They seem to be gearing up here. Like, who are some of the teams that are gearing up that you think that we should not ignore here?
You know, Montreal still needs a little bit of help. I love what Montreal does in offense, but the goaltending and defense for them has been absolutely abysmal this year. So if they can rectify some of that, there have been some rumors and reports about Sergei Bobrovsky from the Panthers being traded to the Habs, which would be honestly a fantastic fit. Whether or not he wants to do that is a different story. So I would keep my eye on Montreal. They do have a winnable game tonight versus Anaheim. I do like them. It's kind of bounced back. I also like the Sharks tonight. The Sharks are a really interesting team. They are a young team. They have a lot of young pieces. They have flexibility just because they're not burdened by heavy cap hits by some of their star players since they're so young, and they're in a spot to pick up another piece and push towards the playoffs. You know, I'd still be looking for a team like Vancouver to potentially sell off Elias Pettersson. He's an extremely good player, but the relationship between him and the team has absolutely deteriorated over the past few seasons. So him being traded away to a contender would be a boost for that contender. And then, again, like you said, those contenders picking up depth pieces to kind of bolster some of the holes that they have.
By the way, this Sunday, me and Tommy are going to be together on Pro Baseball Today right here on the SportsGrid Network, 9 to 11 a.m. And why is that important? Daylight saving is on Sunday here. Make sure you wake up in time. So, Tom, I'm going to leave you with this. Being a Yankees fan yourself, Aaron Judge listed at 49 and a half home runs on the season. Will you go over? Will you go under?
I would go under because if he's going over, it means he's doing awesome. Hopefully the team is doing awesome at that point, and they're going to be pushing towards a division title. So solely an emotional bet on my head, emotional hedge bet on my side, under 49.5.
There you go. He's Tom Vecchia. As I said, good friend of the program here on the Early Line. Tom, we'll talk to you again. Enjoy your weekend. For Joe Ranieri and Donnie Rightside, we'll be right back after this short break. Come on, let's get some action together. The WBC is live right now. And I know most people out there saying, well, come on, man, I'm only going to care about Team USA and they play. I get that. You have to wait a couple days for that to happen. But in the meantime, Joe, 13-0. Japan putting it on Chinese Taipei. And all I remember is growing up in the 80s watching the Little League World Series where Chinese Taipei would run rings around everybody here. But apparently, Joe, all those players are still the same age playing now in the WBC as they were as supposed 12-year-olds back in the day.
Yeah, and they're all pretty good here. But again, for the love of everything, like, stop pitching to Ohtani. Like, just figure out a way to pitch around him, pitch under him, over him. Like, do not pitch to Ohtani in this tournament. He will destroy mediocre pitching here in this.
By the way, as Tom pointed out as well, this isn't just like, oh, watch Ohtani in Japan early in the morning. Like, you got it all day long. 11 o'clock game, 12 o'clock game, 1 o'clock game, 6 o'clock game, 7 o'clock game, and then Brazil and the United States. By the way, is that tonight at 8 o'clock? Am I seeing that correctly? I might have to wait till this weekend.
Yes.
So Brazil's the first game tonight, and then so Skubal's not throwing in this game. They're going to hold him for Great Britain. Who's pitching tonight for the U.S.? Do we know
That's
that?
a great question. Assad versus Anderson, whatever that means. Yes. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's Mexico and the thing. Hold on one second. Let's see.
I don't know who that is. Anderson for the Americans.
Yeah, that's a good question. Who is going to start here? Logan Webb,
Apparently
I think,
is
who's going. Yeah, Webb is going.
My goodness, man. That 9.5 run line spread. Logan Webb, 9.5, man. Yes, that's not a misprint out there. That's not a point spread in the NFL. That's 9.5 is the run line for Team USA tonight at a -128 price here. Other news, Joe, around the WBC, the Astros announced that Jeremy Pena has been diagnosed with a fracture in the tip of his right ring finger and will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. The status for the WBC remains unclear. I'm telling you right now, these guys are so wild about playing for their countries, Joe. Like, James Harden got out there after a broken wrist playing some basketball. You know he's going to want to play and be with his team.
Yeah, you know it, too. I mean, some of these guys are just, you wish the NBA would have this, you know what I mean? This kind of pride here that some of these guys that you're going to see in the WBC where the heck with anything. If I'm going to play a game, I'm going to want to win it. So, but it's unfortunate for Pena. It's unfortunate for Houston, too. Let's hope it doesn't eat into any of the long-term regular season games.
By the way, how about this story here? Andrew McCutchen seems like he's been with every Major League Baseball team, is even with the Philadelphia Phillies, but one of my more favorite teams in Major League Baseball, and here's the shame of it, because McCutchen, the story is he's going to sign with the Rangers on a minor league deal. One of the better good guys in baseball, could be a great mentor, maybe he can still play a little bit. But when you go back as a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, if you are one, you had one of the youngest, most athletic, fun teams that you could watch that made the playoffs, and they just said, we're not paying any of you, and you left out of town. They were so innovative at the time and so much fun to watch. Andrew McCutchen was a big part of that and a monster Major League Baseball player. Still kicking it with the Rangers here. That's a crazy story.
I thought the whole reason when he went back to Pittsburgh was just to finish his career there and be done with it, altogether, because they do. He's a great locker room guy too, Donnie, right?
Really is.
So, that's like having Pujols in the locker room, a guy that's been there, done that. And kudos to the Rangers for getting him. But I'm shocked that Pittsburgh couldn't come to an agreement with him.
Yeah, it's a shame there. But still, again, that guy's wanted in the locker room, a really good guy, and away you go for this one, Joe. I do want to spend a little bit of time here. USA and Brazil tonight here. That -9.5 is hilarious. The money line, Joe, -7,000. And the total in this game, 14.5, which the heavy lifting is going to have to come from Team USA. But I'm trying to go around the different sports books because you don't get it here on FanDuel where you just see okay, you take the game lines and maybe a couple of pitcher props. But other outlets I'm looking at, like a Bet365, they do have some things where it's like both teams score a certain amount of runs, lead after innings, and also the totals here. And they also have batter props. Let me see, home runs. You can bet home runs tonight. Aaron Judge, you get one, a +130. Schwarber, a +140. Now, when you put this in the regular season, usually those guys are +250, +300. But they might be getting, Joe, some meatballs tonight at the plate.
You got to love it here, Donnie. What? I'm also thinking maybe we should just across the board go run in the first inning. Yes, let's just go the Yerfies all day, all tournament long. They'll score in the first. They'll score in the second. They'll score in the third. Those markets, too, are probably going to be really, really good here because the hitting is apparently way ahead of the pitching so far.
It is. And also, you can bet total bases, but I don't know if they're giving total bases to everybody. I see Roman Anthony, Bryce Terang, and Pete Crow Armstrong here. Total bases 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as it listed. So I'm pretty sure throughout the day, Joe, some of these markets might be updating, but it looks like it's probably going to be a blowout, which means a lot of players will be playing. You might only get 2 at-bats or 3 at-bats max, as maybe 4 or 5 in a regular full game here. Good stuff on the way. Hour number 2 next. Guests? PME? Who says no? Come on back. Ooh. Hour number 2 on a Friday. You're almost there, people. The weekend is here. A lot of Major League Baseball, a lot of college basketball, a lot of better get your sleep in. And also, Joe, you know what I do like about this weekend the most is nobody likes missing sleep on Monday. It's like, oh, it's only one day. That really lingers all throughout the week. Like, you're still catching up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, getting used to it. But I got to tell you, and you're in a better spot than we are, because at least we're going to get like 50-degree days, maybe a 60 here. But, Joe, walking outside around 7 o'clock, like, whoa, just got an extra hour of daylight sun. That makes you know spring is on the way, and it's time to feel good again.
Wow, that just means, Donnie, you can, for me down here, you can just set the tee time a little bit later, right? You don't have to worry about running out of daylight in order to finish that 18 holes. So, but yeah, no, I just wish they'd do away with it altogether, Donnie. And there are some parts here that don't follow the whole thing. So I still don't understand why we still have to do this.
You know what? We could take up the entire 10 minutes here talking about that, but I do want to bring up a point, because that was brought to Congress and the House years ago. And I basically said, you could win the White House, you can win the Senate, if somebody just came with a bill that says, we're going to pass this. No more daylight saving time, which means we're just going to keep it the same. It doesn't make sense. And Joe, we're not in the 1700s where farmers are like, give us more hours in the summer and we don't work the winter. What is the deal? And don't you people out here tell me, oh, well, my kid will be at the bus stop when it's a little bit dark. Ridiculous. What, the kid's not coming home at dark from school, 4:30, coming home from practice? What are we talking about, Joe? Look, you know what? I just need, like, if you ran for Congress down there in Florida, Joe, you would get my vote if you overturned daylight savings. You would. You'd get it.
It's so funny, Donnie, because growing up, like, it's like, well, I got to walk to school, but it's pitched. I don't care. Here's a candle. Get to school. You're good to go. Like, what are we worried about kids at a bus stop for? Like, it's just, stop it. Like, this whole thing is absurd, all right? Give them a flashlight. They're good to go. Let them hang out at the bus stop.
Dang, come on, man. But back in the day, hey, the lights came on at night. That's when you knew to go home. Come on, it can't be this hard at this point. I'll tell you what else.
Street lights, when the lamps went on.
Street light comes on. Yep. Yeah, hey, dinner's ready. Yeah, you came home when the street lights came on at this point. But how about this, Joe? We talk about the NCAA where it's so kind of crazy. How about the NCAA? On 3 reports, the NCAA has filed an appeal in the Mississippi State Supreme Court against Trinidad Chambliss' preliminary injunction per court documents here. We are still in court. Joe, we're going to be in court until this guy's 40. And it's going to be like, dude, just drop it here. I'm already done, retired. I played my NFL career. We don't need to go through this anymore.
It's amazing. And once again, the ones who benefit most, the attorneys, Donnie, continue to cash checks as they continue to file paperwork. Like, so what is it? Is this to save face, NCAA? Like, what? Just chalk it up, man. It is what it is. You're not going to, I doubt very much anybody's overturning the judge here. So congrats, though. I guess they can say, hey, we made an effort, and, we don't like this, but ultimately it's going to happen anyway.
The NCAA doesn't have any teeth anyway. Like, even if he wasn't even approved and even had any eligibility left, just play the whole season. They probably can't cut you up to it anyway. You cash in tickets, you win a championship, and in 3 years, they'll take your wins away. What's the big deal at this point? Let's get to the early lineup, Joe. Those hottest topics, which include the Boston Celtics tonight in the Boston Garden. You know who's coming back? It's Jason Tatum with a points prop of 12.5. Welcome back, Tatum. Long time no see after that Achilles injury.
Yeah, but again, Donnie, we talked about it earlier. I'd be looking to fade that 12.5. I'd look at the under. I don't see them just, he's got to go out there. He's got to get his legs underneath him there. And don't think for 1 minute that, Dallas is somehow going to be like, oh, let's play come on, Jason, just go ahead. We'll let you free reign to the hoop. Like, that's not going to happen here tonight. So I would be shocked. What's the over-under on the amount of minutes he plays here? 12? If that,
that's a good point.
I don't think I would fade it at this point.
And by the way, I saw a graphic, Joe, this morning that said Kobe Bryant came back from his Achilles in like 240 some odd days. That guy was otherworldly, man. Like, you see some people taking a year and a half, 2 years off, and that guy was like, yeah, I'll be back. I missed like a couple games, and I'll be back with my Achilles. And also, if you do remember when he tore his Achilles, let me knock down these free throws before I leave the court, man. Shout out to the legend Kobe Bryant, man. We'll keep moving forward here. DJ Moore in the NFL. Brandon Beane, general manager, he told you, I don't really like to trade for really superstars here. And it's crazy how some people are playing Madden with trading these teams. Well, you just played Madden to give up a second-round pick for DJ Moore, have to pay him a ton of money, and you still didn't get a number 1 wideout for your quarterback, Joe. What's the deal here?
I mean, listen, this is... they had to give up a pretty good chunk of assets to get him too. Now, listen, I am always, Donnie, I've always said it, right? Quarterbacks make receivers. Receivers don't make quarterbacks here. And Josh Allen, as long as he has somewhat of a capable guy that can get some separation and catch the ball, he's going to make DJ Moore look really, really good. But is it a game changer? I think you paid a little too much for him.
And hear me out on this, Joe, too, because I do think this story is interesting to me because he needs a number 1. You're in that window. And I know you don't want to use draft capital, but you take a look at the Vikings. A little bit frustrating there. Justin Jefferson, you're trying to find out your quarterback. You're paying him a lot of money. Like, if the Bills picked up the phone and said, we'll give you 2 number 1s for Justin Jefferson. Most people are like, that's ridiculous, and you got to pay him. But you telling me Justin Jefferson comes to the Bills day number 1, they're not the favorites to win the Super Bowl? Like, what are we doing with Josh Allen's career? Just trying to say, you got to carry us here? Do I like the DJ Moore move? Are they better since they got him? Yes, it is. But they needed a number 1 to really vault them to the top, and they just didn't do it. We'll see if it plays out, and you get draft picks coming up. You still got free agency. We'll see if they make more moves, but it's just interesting to see that here. Cam Jordan, who'll be a free agent. Why? Couldn't come to an agreement, Joe, with the New Orleans Saints. The sack leader looking for new work.
Well, and listen, as long as somebody's paying him, Donnie, like, he will land somewhere. There are a few positions, namely that one, that will, you won't be unemployed very long as you can get to the quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see where he lands, though, and how much does he really want. But that guy's a difference maker on the right line, that's for sure.
Cal State assistant coach here, running a spree within 4 cities, Joe, with his pimp hand strong. We have to say allegedly here. My question to you is, do you think he had one of those, pimp cups there that you hold and it's all bedazzled with jewels and stuff like that? Is that how he got caught? Somebody found the pimp cup?
So did he have a Cal State chalice? Is that it?
Cane?
Is that what you're asking? Did he
have
one?
the big cane in the chalice? Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea, Donnie, but this story gets weirder and weirder the more you look into it, and the fact that he was able to do this for a length of time is head-scratching.
Coach got off the plane with a fur coat and a chalice here and a cane, and we knew something was up, and they investigated, and that's what they found out here. NCAA women's news here. We saw the brawl just a few days ago, and you know what? 4 players are being suspended over that. A ref's injured. A melee on the court. You could say it was passion, Joe.
Yeah, it was. I don't like you. But we've seen this before, right? Haven't we, Donnie? I swear we've seen that kind of brawling in a game. Just about every night of the week in the WNBA.
That's true. Hey, look, man, fight hard for your time here. By the way, better get that signed little CBA together, WNBA. Time is ticking at this point. You know where else time is ticking? On Doc Rivers' coaching career. Many people are like, how the heck did he even end up back in Milwaukee? Well, since he's been in Milwaukee, it's been a disaster. But now all of a sudden, he's like, I might retire at the end of the season. That's nice because you're going to get fired at the end of the season.
Quite honestly, I'm shocked it took, this long. But listen, they'll give him the opportunity. He'll go back to the microphone, right? And it'll be like listening and watching paint dry. But Doc Rivers certainly doesn't move the needle. But the NBA, it's not a coach's league, right? It's a players' league. So he'll probably land someplace else before it's all said and done. Maybe Philadelphia.
Oh, come on. Yeah, he'll blame everybody but himself at this point. Is he blaming Giannis at this point since it's not his fault? Paralympics, Joe. This news came out. They stole 2 curling stones at the Paralympics, man. That's penalty to those people, man. Stop it.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, it's not easy to do. And so why? Why are you stealing that? It makes no sense.
Is there a black market?
Yeah, right.
Is there a black market, Joe, for curling stones? Kevin Walsh joins us next. See if we can beat him up like a punching bag. Come on, find out. Live in effect on a Friday, it's the Early Line SportsGrid Network. You know how we get down here. And a daily meetup here, which you love to see. DRS, Joe Ranieri, and Kevin Walsh. He fought for this time spot, and we're going to let him in because, well, he's young, he's talented, and he's my protege, some like to say here. Kev, come on in. Have some fun with us.
Some like to say that. More than zero people. I don't know if more than one, but more than zero.
By the way, there is one guy out there right now that's hate watching this show right now who does work for the network. I'll let you figure out who that is a little bit later in the show, Kevin. But we got to get down to the business today. You're looking live for the Denver Nuggets tonight in elevation, maybe getting healthier by the moment, taking on the New York Knicks. And also, Kevin, overnight we were seeing the Denver Nuggets favored by 1.5, switching back and forth. I'm seeing right now the Knicks back to favorites at -1.5 on the road to take on the Nuggets. Give us a spotlight of this game.
So I think this is one of the classic NBA spots in the regular season where you have to just say, oh, all right, it's a back-to-back, so who's playing? The spot where all of a sudden the NBA's 65-game rule, which was a bad idea the second they implemented, and they've been finding that out slowly but surely, is I actually think Jokic will play, and I would be stunned if he didn't. Because despite what everybody wants you to believe about Nikola Jokic, he actually does care about making all NBA and being the MVP. It just, it's a coincidence that he's right now on pace to play 66 games. Right. Now, I don't know about his counterparts. In a weird way, though, Denver might be healthier in this game than they were last night against the Los Angeles Lakers. There's a lot of talk that Aaron Gordon could be back here. So this number shooting back towards the Knicks is a bit of a surprise to me. Jamal Murray sometimes is touch and go when it comes to the second leg of these back-to-back, so perhaps that's the indication. Aaron Gordon on a minutes restriction, but when I eye this up, I'm not seeing a spot where Denver should really be booked as a home underdog, even if it's a slight home underdog.
Yeah, and it feels like if Aaron Gordon is back, as crazy as it is, it feels like maybe less points. I mean, the Knicks, we talked about it yesterday here, certainly have ratcheted up the defensive end. They did again against Oklahoma City. That's their MO now. So it feels like, I don't know, getting over mid-230s seems like a stretch to me here.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. And I know the number isn't as high from a Denver team total perspective, but last night they scored 120 and went under their team total. It's when you get Jokic back, who is the most impactful offensive player in the league right now, these numbers get very high. Just using last night's 122.5. And again, I know that's not where this total is booked right here for this game, but just to use that number, we are now in a 15-game sample size since Jokic is back. Under that, in 11 of 15 games, and 2 of the overs came in overtime. It's just a lot. And for the Knicks, we even talked about that game earlier this week, right, guys, where I spoke to some Knicks fans. You would have thought they won that game because they didn't get embarrassed, right? The defense actually played well. That feels like the MO. I think you're spot on, Joe. I'd be very cautious of this total here.
We're going to get to a little college basketball in a moment, Kevin, but some of the big news tonight is the Boston Celtics getting Jason Tatum back and what it means for that locker room. We didn't know coming into the season what we would get out of Boston. Middling team, maybe looking to restructure, a couple big names out of town, and we'll see what we have because those contracts are starting to get a little bit expensive. Tatum comes back. They're one of the best teams in the NBA. Does this upset the apple cart? And also, expectations for Jason Tatum tonight, listed at 12.5, Kevin, as his points prop.
It's very difficult to tell, what is the minutes restriction here? To some degree, you should argue there should be no minutes restriction. He should not be back on the floor until he's completely 100% fine. But that is impossible because he wants to be out there. And Boston seems to be, it's not as bad as when Durant was in Golden State, where they were pushing him to come back. But Boston seems to be playing the dummy here. A very proud and smart organization is like, whatever you want, Jason. Hey, if you're going to play Friday, we'd love to have you. We see nothing wrong with you playing in March, and Damian Lillard, who tore his ACL before you, has never once considered playing a game this season. Or Halliburton, who has been ruled out for the year the entire time just because he was injured a little bit after you. The whole thing is very uncomfortable to me. And I will add on top of that, I've heard some people suggest that this is just going to be some simple, smooth transition. Tatum won't step on Jaylen Brown's toes. No. He's just going to replace Shireman's minutes. And Hugo Gonzalez, right. Hey, Tatum, go guard and stand in the corner. In what world? He's been the best player on this team since he pretty much entered the league. Maybe one Isaiah Thomas season. This is not something where if Tatum is out there, I expect him to just stand in the corner like PJ Tucker. This is going to take time, I think, in Boston. And I don't think the amount of time necessary is going to just be this season. I'm not saying Tatum makes them worse. I didn't think they were going to win a championship without Tatum, but just because he's coming back now and playing 18 minutes, maybe off the bench, I'm not running to bet Boston futures like some others might be.
I'm with you. I don't understand. I mean, maybe what's the over under minutes he plays here tonight? Because I'm looking to fade his points prop all day long here. Because who knows if he steps on the court, he gets 6 minutes and he's like, it's a little tight. They're not going to push him at this point, right?
Well, you know what, though, Joe? They might not check on him. Based on what we're seeing here, he's just going to go out there and do whatever he wants. Joe Mazzulla's not even going to ask him how he's feeling. Mazzulla's going to burn through the minutes restriction at this point. That's my read on the situation.
Yep.
By the way, here's my read on the situation. Studio looks absolutely fantastic. Crystal clear microphone. You got glasses on. You don't have a headset on. Really accentuates the positive. Makes you look professional. And might get that in. And also talking about Miami, Ohio. Undefeated tonight. Do they do it, Kevin? Miami, Ohio. Do they do it against Ohio tonight? Unbeaten regular season.
They do. And if they do, we assume that will secure their position in the tournament, which makes the Pearl family very, very upset.
You see it. It's Game Time Decisions live tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern with Kevin Walsh and Gabriel Morency. What a weekend ahead. Kevin's going to help you pull through and the rest of the crew. We'll be right back after the short break. Kevin, thanks for rising and grinding with us. See, wasn't that fun on the early line? We like to get you different angles here. Tom Vecchio joined us today. Kevin Walsh joined us today. The friends of the network, as we like to say. But in this segment that we're going to talk about, best bets are coming up. And I failed the people the past 2 nights by straying off course. I won't do that again. Joe Ranieri, he's got a player you're going to want to see. We'll get to the fade the public in a second. But also, let's talk about Russell Westbrook. Ain't happy with the refs here. Let's see what he says.
What y'all think, though? Because y'all got a lot of answers and y'all always be talking.
I have no answer.
Oh, it's very interesting. Y'all don't got no. You guys have a lot of opinions about how we do what we doing. What you got? Oh, you. Yeah, you make a lot of statements and broad statements that you have no context. So where do you get your context from? Are you in practice? Are you at our film session? Are you anywhere around the building? No, I haven't seen you at practice. So the false context of, and actually, do you know me?
I know you.
No, you don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know me. But you make a lot of comments as though you do know me.
Comment about your best.
No, you don't. My intent, I see it. But I'm asking you now, but you don't know me, right? So you don't know anything about me.
Not you personally.
Thank you.
Oh, look, we're at the angry stage of his NBA career. Now, granted, he still makes a decent amount of money, not nearly as much as he used to make, and he's not in the spotlight anymore because he plays for the Kings, and they absolute stink. So I understand the frustration of, I'm not even playing for anything on a night-to-night basis, and now I'm going to let it loose right here on the press.
Listen, the guy's a treasure, man. He always, it's so much fun watching him just go back out, guys. Usually he's kind of bit his tongue a little bit this year, but it's nice to see Russ finally start firing back there. And I mean, what's he got to be? You won 14 games this year. It's not going, it can't be fun for guys like him and DeRozan at all.
Let's get to the fade the public poll here, Joe, and have some fun with this. Bring it up, people. Let's go.
What y'all think?
Still waiting, Joe. That was a pretty good slip right there. I like that. That could be edited in that way. That's actually perfect the way it is. But our Fade the Public poll deals with Miami of Ohio. Before I get to the question itself, Joe, let me ask you this. Let's take the equation of the MAC tournament out next week, right? Let's leave that alone. If Miami of Ohio loses tonight, do they deserve to be kicked out of their at-large bid status?
Yeah, no. I think the conversation to me is moot. The minute you get to 30-0, Donnie, it's what are we doing here? Because the alternative is then what? A 500 TCU? Like,
yes.
I would much rather see Miami of Ohio in. Absolutely.
Question was asked to the people today. Will Miami of Ohio finish off the MAC regular season undefeated, Joe? Yes, no, and Bobcats plus 195. Wouldn't no be Bobcats really plus 195 then, correct? Come on now.
That would, yes, but no. Miami of Ohio wins tonight, and Fish is there. But it would be, I mean, Ohio's money line is not you got a lot of guys looking at the market right now. A lot of guys looking to fade Miami of Ohio again tonight, but I don't see it, Donnie. I do not see it happening.
But yeah, like it should be like yes, but then there's no, and just put Bobcats plus 195, right? Wouldn't that have been the same response? We should have delayed it out. So I guess we can have 7.
Yeah, probably two. Well, you get more people selections, Donnie. You know what happens. The more is not better.
I mean,
yes, more is not better.
guys are running around North Jersey at 2 a.m. right now trying to make up these SportsGrid highlights right here. So that's what you get sometimes. But hey, we got best bets on the way, people. Fire it up for some bye. Come on, Joe. It's Friday. It's payday. Give the people what they need.
Yeah, by the way, if your answer was no to that, you should only play it on the money line. By the way, tonight, another game I don't understand here in the Summit League. Denver and North Dakota. They've played twice this season, and both games we got to witness zero defense. In fact, 179 points in the first one, just about that in the second one. These are the two worst defenses in the Summit League. I got no problem going over the 160.5 in this one, Donnie. I don't understand the under money. It's over for me.
I'm going to go over to the association tonight. I was taking decent basketball teams the past couple nights here, and that doesn't work out, even though the numbers are really what you want to see. I'm going to go tonight. Trailblazers taking on the Rockets. This game is in Houston. That line overnight opened up at 7.5. It's down to 6.5 at most outlets. Only 35% of the tickets here coming in on the Portland Trailblazers. Back to the basics on a Friday, Joe. Taking the Trailblazers with the points, even though the public is loving the Houston Rockets. How's that sound for a nice little Friday episode of The Early Line? You know what? It continues next with the extension of predictions, markets, and